Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 81 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on September 28th, 2021. How are you wonderful folks doing? Good, I hope. Man, I was out for a bit on some R&R, but I am back. I think I'm going to be doing some hunting prep this weekend for deer season, so I may bring the pistol, do some more practice. Super excited about that. Could be cool. I might also burn some more of that Hornady Frontier ammo because reasons. I got a mag dump. I might try it through a lower back pressure silencer than the RC2, and see what happens in full auto. That Surefire SOCOM 556 RC2 has pretty low back pressure for a 556 bore silencer. It does, but full auto is going to get you. Full auto will get you. So we'll have to see what happens in full auto with a different silencer on the gun. Maybe I might bring some federal ammo too and see how that kind of affects the gas. It's very interesting full auto. A lot of folks don't really test that until they really, you shoot a machine gun with a silencer and you can really uncover some things you might not normally see. In semi-auto fire, so that might be interesting. I don't know. Full auto will get you. It'll get you. I tell you what, man. But full auto and silencers. What is this tomfoolery? Well, friend, it's not tomfoolery. It's PEW Science, and silencers are part of it. They are. And one place to get silencers is from Silencer Shop. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop, the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers. It is. They're not only my dealer of choice, they are my infrastructure of choice. Frankly, they're quite innovative. The QR code on the Form 4 that the ATF uses to scan the form in there, I tell you what, man, electronic Form 4s with the QR code, that's the only way to fly. These government folks with their paper flying across their desk, and you want them to fat finger in the information into the computer? Broham. No, you do not. You definitely want to use technology. Yeah, so, that's one of the things that Silencer Shop does is cool. They got a network of dealers nationwide where silencers are legal. You use the kiosk. You encrypt your photo and your fingerprints and all that stuff there electronically. Saves it for when you want to sit on the couch watching Netflix. You grab some popcorn. You say, you know what? Before I watch this movie, I'm just going to buy a silencer. You buy the silencer. All your stuff's in there. Boom, boom, boom. Bam, bam, bam. DocuSign, you're done. Drains your wallet conveniently. Money back guarantee. No transfer fees. No paperwork errors. Just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. It is. And secondly, and most importantly, the J Situation Podcast is brought to you by PEW Science, pushing the silencer industry forward, one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and the most accurate hearing-safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. Meaningful data, meaningful sound signature data for suppressed small arm weapon systems based on true human sound perception. There's nothing else like it in the world, only at pewscience.com. Actually on the website there is something called the Silencer Sound Standard that I have created there for you. It walks you through gunshot noise like Wikipedia, but cooler because it's about silencer sound. There's 7 parts. The suppression rating, the bottom line for sound is in section 5. You dig in, it'll explain it to you there. They're all on pewscience.com for you to read. If you haven't seen it, that's fine. You check out section 5, look at the suppression rating. It's going to let you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to the sound of the muzzle in the shooter's ear. Gives you a hearing safe dose limit on the particular platform for which the silencers are tested. It's all tied to human perception. If it's a higher number, it sounds better. If it's a lower, it sounds louder. It's all there is to it. It's I made it simple for you. There's a lot of gobbledygook, But look at the number. It won't do you wrong. It's cool. You're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world, I promise. The 6th section of the standard has all the reviews. If you want to dig into the details there, they're all there for you. We get really deep. We go really deep into combustion physics and gas physics. even gas momentum, all kinds of things to give you not only the knowledge to understand what a silencer is doing in relation to other silencers and the unsuppressed weapon system, but also it's a data pedigree. It gives you confidence. It gives you confidence that the data is correct. Okay? I mean, there's so much data there for you that's consistent and meaningful. And it fits into the entire PEW Science pedigree. So, holistically, it is the largest suppressed small arms research effort in the world, in the history of small arms. And it's for you. It's all there on the website. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And if you say, Jay, that's great. That's really great, but I don't care. I just want to know, what is the quietest silencer for my particular weapon system? I say, okay, no problem, fam, I got you. Section 7 contains a simple database tool. You sort and you view the ratings there. You can sort them to your heart's content. That's the ranking section in Section 7. Yeah, all the publicly released data is there. There are links to the individual reviews there in the table. If you see something you like, you want to go back and you say, well, I did tell you I wasn't interested, but now that I see the silencer, I kind of want to see some more data. I see no problem. Click on the link there. It'll take you to the review. It's all there. It's not going anywhere. It's all there on the website for you to peruse. Yeah, go wild. And as always, if you are a manufacturer, a dealer, or some kind of entity that makes or sells silencers or designs silencers, and you would like to use PEW Science for private testing and consulting services, man, there's a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact information and all the test data will be held in strict confidence. It will. Unless you want to release it to the public. In which case PEW Science can help you do that. We've released several reviews from our private testing so far, and that does happen from time to time. And so go to the website and check those out. And they're there for you. You can support this podcast. You can support PEW Science. You can support all the testing that I do by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. You can, if that's too much, you say, I would like to join, but times are tight. In these trying times, I say no problem. Just go on your favorite podcast provider. Give it a good rating there, or maybe you just say, maybe you just spread the word. You tell your friends, you tell your family, you tell your gun shop. You say, hey, PEW Science is doing this. It's good data. It's here to help. What do you think? And they say, oh, that's neat. And they learn about silencers, and maybe the general public will realize that silencers and guns are awesome. We normalize the use of suppressed small arms. Everybody wins. How does that sound? I feel like it's a possible win-win. Possibly. Okay. Let's see. All right, I have 4 topics for you today. You know what? Actually, I was looking at this. I was kind of preparing some of this when I was on a plane last night. On a plane last night, and I was like, this is a long flight. Let me go ahead and open up the old PEW Science laptop there and kind of scroll down some thoughts for you wondrous folks. Yeah, topic 1, sound signature review 653, the SilencerCo Saker 556 on the MK18. Technical discussion. Let's get technical. We'll talk about that review. It's a wild signature. Excuse me, I just ate some wonderful chicken. That my fiance made. It was great. Yeah, technical discussion. We'll talk about that signature. It'll be great. And topic 1 there. Topic 2, quick CAM-LOK update for you. I have some more anecdotal reports to speak about and some disclaimers I want to kind of throw in for your use there. I think it'll be helpful for you. And also, I just want to say the FN 509 Compact Tactical is it's a great gun. Excited about it. Topic 3, listener questions are back. That's right. We're going to dive into Solicitation 3. Boy, howdy, I am excited to answer your queries. I looked into these, man. I tell you what, you guys definitely came through on that. Topic 4, great show of support recently, folks. That's important. Several of you folks have joined PEW Science to support, and that means the world. Some of you folks that I often interact with joined, and that was a surprise, and that's really great when that happens. And I do appreciate you helping me keep this going. And also, incredibly big PEW Science welcome to Abel Suppressor Company. They are a private PEW Science client that is now also a public member. So, shout out to Abel. Okay, all right, we're going to get into topic 1 at a time of 9 minutes. And 57 seconds. Okay, that was like way longer than I typically do by at least, well, not longer than last time, but, well, it's fine. Topic 1. Topic 1, sound signature review 653. The SilencerCo Saker 556 on the MK18. Yeah, technical discussion. Let's talk about this crazy signature, guys. This is interesting. I actually didn't know when I was going to release this data, but I was like, you know what? What better time than now, frankly. Boy, howdy. More 556 data. Yeah, you guys, and before I go ham, you guys saw this, right? You guys saw this one. Saw this review. I hope you did. I'm not sure if all of you have seen it yet, but if you haven't, I think you have. But if you haven't, go to the website, check out review 653 on pewscience.com in section 6 of the Silencer Sound Standard. This is 6.53, the SilencerCo Saker 556 on the MK18. Remember this silencer? I don't know how many of you guys remember. This has been out a while. It's been out a long time. Recall that this silencer has actually been superseded by the Saker ASR. They changed the back end of it. To use a different mount, basically. But I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure if that's the only difference. I think it might be one of the only differences because, SilencerCo didn't really have anyone in R&D to be able to speak with me. I reached out, wasn't able to get. What do the journalists say? The party did not respond to a request for comment or something like that. I don't know what newspapers say when that happens, but I will say, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't able to talk to anyone, but I tell you what, I'm fairly certain the old Saker and the new Saker are the same except for the mount. For all intents and purposes. And if that's not true, that's not true. And then I guess we'll have to test a Saker ASR too. But you have this data, so I know the silencer is out in the wild quite a bit. The silencer is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's been out for quite some time. So I think the data is useful for the state of practice as a whole, and I'm going to continue to talk about it now. Now, just in case the mount, the mount difference was going to, make this some kind of crazy problem, I was like, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to test a direct thread. That's right. We're gonna basically make it so simple that all questions about mount go away, and we're like, well, we're testing a direct thread, and the blast chamber is the size it is, and here we go. I actually think that gives it quite a good data point. Personally, I think it's a really good test of a silencer to be able to test a direct thread without having to mess with different mounts. So, because this silencer can take different ones, so I thought it'd be good. Let's use the least amount of variables possible and see what happens. Seemed reasonable. So, boy, howdy, I tell you what, though. This is another dedicated 556 silencer, in that the bore of the silencer is tailored to use 556 ammo. Okay, so you cannot fit 30 caliber ammo down the pipe. You can't do that. So what did we kind of know was going to happen here? What did we kind of know, guys? Well, we knew that we were going to be able to suppress sound rather well. We kind of thought that, kind of given the design of this silencer, given the baffle shape and the bore size, but we knew it was going to be a relatively restrictive system. We did, with regard to flow rate. We also knew that. We kind of knew that going in. So now you may be asking yourself, Jay, how did you know that? How did you know? Well, you're sure the bore is small, but how did you know it was going to restrict the flow substantially? How did you know? Well, I looked in the silencer. Okay, I used a bore scope. I found minimal porting. There was minimal porting. There wasn't a lot of porting. Okay, a lot of curved cone baffles. Nothing that told me, yep, this is going to let gas through relatively quickly. Nah, dude, this is a gas trap. Traps gas. Okay. Ordinarily, that's super cool. Trapping gas is great. But what happens on the MK18? Well, let's dive into that. So bottom line up front, and I'm going to go to pewscience.com. Right, yeah. All right, pewscience.com. Let's go to the reviews. Section 6 here, I'm gonna go ahead and log in. Log into the member area. I'm gonna click on the member version of this review so I can have it up. Have everything in here. to look at for you. Here I'm talking about it. Bottom line up front, 32.6 overall suppression rating for the system. 32.4 at the muzzle. That's pretty good. That's pretty good at the muzzle. 32.4 there. Now, the 17.7 at the ear. Whoa, man. Whoa, dude. Bro, why? 17.7. Oh, the humanity. It's 17.7 at the ear. Let's talk about it. Remember, the Mark 18 fixed gas block H2 buffer. Okay, this gun is tuned as if it's an off-the-shelf gun from a military armory. Okay, the armor put in an H2 because he was like, bro, you're going to need at least this. Trust me, we did a lot of surveys and intelligence gathering to determine we were going to test with an H2 in the Mark 18. That's how they're feeling it. I promise you. I know Daniel Defense doesn't sell it with an H2. I know they sell it with an H1. I'm telling you, there's an H2 in the gun. Okay. So it's at least that. And then, the armor is like, well, I'm going to make sure this gas port's 0.070 inches in diameter. That's the specification there. It's the updated gas port. So here we are. That's what it is. That's what the Mark 18 is. And that's what you're shooting with this system. A military tuned or a consumer untuned short barrel automatic rifle of the cloner's delight, the Mark 18. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed this, but I did put some more firm language in the 5.56 reviews. Let me get a drink of water 1 second. I've been talking all day. Just come back from R&R and you got this things to do. I put some more firm language in the 5.56 reviews so far. I be careful, regarding folks needing to look at both the muzzle and the ear ratings. I've had some consumers, especially on places like ARFCOM and forums like that. They get confused and sometimes angry that they don't feel the ratings match their experience. And then, other users, other PEW Science readers, or I personally will tell them, bro, you might want to look at the detailed ratings in the graphic, like the muzzle and the ear. That's going to help you. And, then they see that. They're like, okay, they get what they need. Then they go on their way. They're like, okay, I didn't read this. Okay, it's no problem. I know it's hard to read sometimes. It's a lot of words. I try to make everything in the graphic there for you easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Super simple. The composite rating, the big number in bold there, that's meant to classify the overall system in a way that lets you have a quick look as to the overall level of loudness. That's just an overall rating. If you ranked every single thing tested by PEW Science and only looked at that number, you get a general idea of how loud the system is. Okay, as a whole, as a suppressed small arm weapon system, that's a composite rating. Now, the detailed ratings are what you want if you actually care about either the shooter or the immediate bystander. Okay, that's the muzzle in the ear. That's going to help you. Okay, and it's all free. It's all there. All it takes is you look at the big number and then you shift your eye like 1 degree right, and you see the detailed ratings. They're not. It's not hidden. Nothing's hidden. It's literally right there. Okay, so why is the dang ear rating so much lower on this silencer? This is becoming a theme for you right now, isn't it? Well, at least so far, isn't it? Interesting. On this particular silencer, the primary reason is the ejection port signature, okay? It is. Now, that's the bottom line. Okay, so what are some telltale signs you might have an issue with flow restriction from this silencer without even looking at the ejection port signature? What are some telltale signs? What did we learn from looking at all those dang bolt action reviews and deriving the omega metric? We learned a lot. We did. And what we learned is directly applicable to this test. Turns out it is. It's directly applicable to this test. You guys know that this is a really big deal. It is. I don't know if you guys caught this nuance, but the omega metric works. Okay, so check it out. I want you to check this out. And you might be thinking, oh, he didn't even give us the omega met. Okay. No, I want you to look at this. Look at figure 1A. Okay, I'm not going to spoon feed you everything, guys, but I'm gonna help you. You're gonna understand this, I promise. By the time this is all said and done, you're gonna be a well-oiled machine. Look at figure 1A. Notice the bolt closing happens faster, like than with the RC2. Like, why would that be? Why would that be? The bolt speed is higher, right? Higher than it was on the RC2, at least. Interesting, right? Now, is that always going to happen if the gun is really dirty? Like, meaning, will the bolt closing time be a reliable indicator of initial bolt speed? No, it's not always. This is not always going to be a reliable indicator for you. And I did give that disclaimer in the article. I gave that disclaimer in the Surefire article. I gave it on the podcast when I talked about that. And now I'm giving it again here on this podcast episode. Okay, I'm going to keep giving that disclaimer so folks don't try to go insane on me. I don't want you going out of control with supposition. But I can tell you that on this one, the gun was fairly similar in like fouling, just due to the test series that I was performing, like more or less, like similar, kind of. So the data really shows it for you, and that's a reliable indicator. Okay, so that's one thing. That's not like a really like perfect indicator, but that's one thing immediately you probably noticed. You probably noticed that immediately. So there's that. Now, second thing, though, look at figure 1B. Okay? Check that out, dude. Way different than the Surefire pressure signature, right? Way different. All right? This is different. In fact, I should open it. I should open that in another window. Meow. Open another tab. Boom, boom, chakalaka. Okay, I'm going to go down. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Okay, perfect. This will refresh my memory because, I'm talking to you here. It's been a while since I wrote the Surefire article. Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. If you go to that Surefire article and look at figure 1B, you see the signature. You get that really quick, the bullet exit event, and they're still venting. You're like, whoa, it's venting really fast. And then you go to the Saker. In this latest review, you go to the Saker figure 1B and you see the bullet exit, and all of a sudden nothing. Drops down. It takes quite a bit to reach peak. That first major jet really happens. Let's see, how long let's count, guys. Okay, so that's a little bit before 30 milliseconds, you get the bullet exit event, and then you get a little bit after 30.5. So it takes, I don't know, let's call it almost 3/4 of a millisecond to reach peak, after bullet exit. But in the Surefire, you're jetting quite a bit, like right away, and it really doesn't die down until 3/4 of a millisecond. So what a crazy gas flow difference right away. Not even looking at impulse, not even looking at ejection port, not even looking at weapon function. Before we look at any of those things at all, before you're even touching other indicators of silencer function, just looking at the muzzle waveforms alone, just looking at the waveform features, you can see that the Saker has higher back pressure, has higher flow restriction, just by looking at the waveform, guys. Isn't it? It's clear. It's clear. Okay? Absolutely clear demarcation of the bullet exit event with drastic signature reduction, post-bullet exit, then gradual pressure flow from the silencer. Classic high back pressure, high flow restriction. Classic signature behavior, right? Textbook PEW Science. Oh, just it thundered. I said textbook PEW Science and it thundered. Oh man, you gotta love it. Textbook. You guys have seen this. I hope you're starting to recognize some of these gross signature shapes, guys. The overall shapes that describe the behavior of the silencer. This is on an AR15, bro. This happened so quick. The weapons doesn't care yet, guys. The weapon's fine. The weapon's shot. Nothing's happened. The bullets leave in the reciprocating system's not actuating yet. These waveform features are independent of that. You understand how fast this is happening? But look what we can know about it. Look what we know about the gas dynamics just from testing correctly. With proper instrumentation in the right hands. With the proper expertise. With the proper analysis. Not even using software. There's no software involved with this. You guys think, there's like been silencer companies lately, and the silencer dealers they're all bent out of shape because they can't do what PEW Science is doing. And I'm like, okay, well, go get a couple of engineering degrees and 15 years of experience in doing it. It's not, they're like, well, sell us PewSoft. I'm like, no. I'm telling you, I could give you PewSoft. You wouldn't be able to do this unless you know what you're looking at. That's the whole point. And I'm literally teaching everybody. I'm literally teaching all of you on this podcast every week. I'm teaching you how to do this. Like literally walking you through this. Like this is, do I do it for my health? No. I'm trying to help you. Listen. Calm down. Look, who knew? Who knew you could get that much information out of a waveform? It turns out nobody in the entire silencer industry knew that until I started showing you this. Okay, that's concerning. Okay, but moving on. We don't have to dwell on that. But I'm saying, like, we're what are we? 2 figures in, figure 1A and 1B. We haven't even done anything but looked at raw pressure at the muzzle, and I've already compared 2 silencers to you and told you how they could affect the weapon. Guys, I haven't mentioned any numbers about decibels, sound pressure. I haven't given you, and it doesn't matter. All I've told you is wave shape and wave features. I'm literally talking qualitatively, and I've already described more about these 2 silencers than any silencer reviewer has ever told you. Just by looking at 2 graphs that anybody with the expertise could measure. See what I mean? Like, this is why. Like, guys, I'm dwelling on this for a second more because I want you to really understand. You need to know when people are marketing to you and when people are actually telling you real information. Okay? Like, don't get fooled anymore. All right? Stop listening to stuff that isn't helping you because you're going to have a bad time. All right? Like, I mean, go watch the YouTube videos. Go wild. But unless you're shooting the silencer yourself with your buddies, or you're looking at this real data and analysis, you're flying blind. All right. So these are 2 things. We looked at bolt closing speed. We looked at bullet exit event, and then in relation to suppression post event, and then how the gas jetted out. We looked at those two things. So we have those 2 things: faster bullet movement. Pressure appears to be showing us delayed pressure dump. The high back pressure conclusion is getting more solid by the moment here, guys, right? Just those 2 things. Now, what else do we have? What else? There's more. Now, keep in mind, we're still in the public review. This is the public portion of the review. What else do we see? Well, the very next figure, that's what? Impulse space. Figure 2, look at it. What do you see? Way different than the RC2, right? Way different. Remember when we first looked at the 762 RC2 and you saw a really fast impulse rise, or rather a steep initial positive phase impulse slope, and then you just saw the 556 RC2 on the Mark 18 and the similar fast slope was noted on that too in the impulse space, remember? Now look at the Saker slope. Look at that first slope. Gradual. It looks gradual, doesn't it? It's gradual. It's wild. It's almost as if the omega metric for the silencer is higher than the RC2. Yeah? Right? Newsflash, PEW Science family. It is. That's right. I haven't published omega for 556 yet because I'm still deciding actually how to present some stuff to you. I haven't had time to deal with it right now. But yeah, I can tell you that the Saker 556 has a higher omega metric than the RC2. Boom. Omega metric validated with semi-auto data for you, public data, visible in the data. And what's the final verification? Sound at the ear on the Mark 18, guys. Mark 18. Come on, the gun's the same. Remember, the gun's the same. What happens when the gun is the same? Well, that means you can compare ejection port signature, can't you? You can. And this, my friends, is where I stop talking about it on the podcast. I'm not talking about this anymore because this is member data now. We're going to move, when you move past this part in the review, when you move past figure 2, that's member data. And frankly, the members put their money where their mouths are and support what I'm doing. And that's why they get to see more about how the sausage is made. Okay, PEW Science members, if you haven't checked out the ear waveforms in this Saker review, you need to, because there is some absolutely wild stuff going on. Some stuff that's actually super special. It is. It's super special. Super special artifacts of some interesting physics that occurs near the shooter's head. Super proud of this data. Super proud of the fact the omega metric and all the logic used to derive it is sound. It's meaningful. It's useful. And it's correct. Okay, it's awesome, dude. I am so glad we did this, guys. I am so glad. This is so important. The Mark 18 is actually becoming important to me as I move on with this research because it's really highlighting the power, the absolute power of all the metrics we've created here. Okay, it's great. And so what's really just this is something I noticed. When you look at figure 2A, the waveforms are actually beautiful in a way. They are. The impulse waveforms, if you look at it, I'm gonna click on it, make it bigger. Oh my God, just look at it. Look at it. Look how smooth they are. Look how they all stack on top of each other like that. So consistent. It's so clean. So correct. High fidelity. Carefully, consistently, and correctly acquired. That's the thing, dude. Like I cannot overemphasize how great and important it is to have correct data consistently acquired like this and showing it to you. That's the thing. I'm showing it to you. Man, it's PEW Science data. It's the best. It's the absolute best. I'm proud of that. I'm proud. I'm proud of this test, dude. Super good data. Amazing. This is better than SilencerCo or any other silencer company on the planet has ever seen ever in their lives, dude. And it's right, and it shows us exactly how the silencer behaves. It's exciting. It's amazing. And you know what also was amazing? The lack of first round pop. The lack of first round pop in this silencer. This Saker really does not have first round pop, really. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's wild, right? I mean, you can see it. You can see it does. Like, you can see the ancillary combustion from the first round in figure 2A. You see how maybe you can see it there, but if you click on figure 2B, I exaggerated it by stretching the time scale, so you can see the difference between shot 1 and shot 2. You can see how the shot 1 has a faster, steeper slope, faster rise. That's because of that extra combustion from the oxygen in the silencer on the first shot. But it's interesting that we see that, and it's just as interesting that the silencer really doesn't have any perceptible first round pop, and that's cool. But it's also super loud at the ear. so there's that. But hey, guys, if you're shooting the silencer on the Mark 18, you're going to want to strongly consider some hearing protection. Probably, my friends, my colleagues, PEW Science family, wear the ears for this one. Dang, man. You know what I mean? Man, it is coming down. It's thundering. We do need the rain. Yeah, gosh, I'm just looking at these waveforms right now. I hope you've guys checked out this review. And I know a lot of you are like, just give us the suppression rating. Do the reviews faster. I'm like, man, you won't want me to do that. You're not going to want this faster because I can't give it to you faster due to my schedule. And frankly, if I rush it and don't give you complete information, the industry will suffer, and you will suffer, because it's things like this that really show the pedigree. For those of you who know what you're looking at, and many of you do that, you've been paying attention. This is crazy data. Like, it's crazy what you can see in the data. It's insane. So there's that. So moving on. Okay, we're not going to talk about the ear waveforms because that's a PEW Science member thing, but we know this thing's loud at the ear. But how does it compare to the RC2, the Surefire, the SOCOM 556 RC2? How does it compare to that? I mean, look, these are both 556 silencers, and all of these 556 silencers are going to be super loud at the ear on this military-tuned host weapon. Possibly, maybe, right? I mean, like, are they? Are these 5.56 silencers with this 5.56 bore, are they all going to be loud on it at the ear? Well, I mean, we have a little comparison chart started so far. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I have to go scroll through the member stuff. All the way down to section 6.53.2, the suppression rating comparison in this article, figure 5. Check out figure 5 in the review, guys. Okay, this is in the public review. The RC2 with the 3-prong, with the War Comp and the Saker 5.56 direct thread. They're all 3 in there, okay? Bro. The at-ear suppression rating doesn't get down to War Comp level loud with the Saker, but it does drop compared to the RC2. It does. The RC2 is quieter at the muzzle than the Saker. Not by a super, like with 3-prong, like not by a super high amount, but it's quieter at the muzzle than the Saker. But it also flows faster. So the RC2 is quiet at the ear for multiple reasons, not just the flow rate, okay? It's actually very complicated because remember, the end cap pressure pulse and the ejection port pressure pulse are coalescing. They are. So they're adding together, and they're doing so with a certain timing, a certain phase and amplitude, okay? And so what that's producing an end result that really loads your ears. It's wild, right? It's wild how much louder it can be at the ear. Same gun. Both silencers are relatively quiet, but man, change the flow rate, add some different end cap signature, bam. Look at the difference. 17.7 at the ear with the Saker, 22.2 at the ear with the RC2. You're thinking, dude, that's both of those are really loud. Yeah, it's a Mark 18, but hey, that's half a suppression rating category, guys, at the ear different. Due to flow restriction. It's a big deal, right? It's a pretty big deal. You know the really crazy thing, one of the crazy things, is that there's no gas leak with the Saker. There isn't. So don't think that's what's happening. There's not a gas leak in the silencer itself, in like the mount or anything. How do we know that? Well, I tested it with the direct thread, remember? That's not leaking gas, dude. It's impossible. So the back pressure is so high. The back pressure is so high that the ejection port waveform and the muzzle waveform combine to rival a gas leak. That, my friends, is exactly what a high back pressure or high omega metric silencer does on an AR. It can cause the bolt to open too early while the pressure in the barrel's still too high, and then you get high pressure from that environment traveling to low pressure with the atmosphere very quickly, and that's what we call an overpressure event. It's a blast load. It's a blast load in your face. In your face. Yeah, it's in your face. It's a blast load in your face. Okay? That's what that is. That's pressure at high. That's high pressure traveling to a low pressure zone quickly. If it does it really quickly, which it tends to do when there's a high pressure differential, you get a blast load. And the blast load is in the face. It's in the face. So final thoughts. How does the Saker 5.56 do as a 5.56 silencer on the Mark 18? How does it do? Well, to bystanders, it's kind of good, right? But to the shooter, well, it can be an issue. It can. So you should probably tune your AR for the Saker 5.56. That's what I would do. If I had a Saker, I would tune my AR. That's what I would do. I would tune my gun. Now, how good can it get when you tune the gun? Well, I guess I'll have to find that out later. Right? We'll have to figure that out later. I don't know. I haven't tuned a gun for the Saker, but we'll have to do that and test it, see what we can do. How good can we make it? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yeah. All right. That was a good topic there. Let's go ahead and minimize that. All right. How long do we spend? Oh, that's not too bad. Let's move into topic. I hope did that do that justice? I hope that did that justice for you guys. If you have any questions about the Saker, shoot me an email at tech@pewscience.com, or maybe we'll talk about it more on the next podcast if I went over that too quickly. But I did spend a little bit of time on it, at least half an hour. About half an hour. All right, let's move into topic 2 at a time of 39 minutes and 25 seconds. Okay, let me get some water here. Man, it is still thundering. I haven't seen much lightning, but I haven't been looking, so I can't determine the distance away the storm is. But I love the rain. I really do. Okay, topic 2. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I have my notes here. I was going to talk to you about a quick CAM-LOK update. I had a quick update for you. I had some more anecdotal reports to speak about and some disclaimers I wanted to just let you know about, some good practice stuff. Oh, and I was going to mention that the FN 509 Compact Tactical is awesome. I just wanted to, it's my new gun and I'm excited. And it's right here on my desk and I just want to say I love it. So, okay, but okay, so confession. I think I told you this the other day, but I bought a rugged Obsidian 9. And I think the Form 3 is approved. I checked today. I checked eForms to see I saw it. It was in my inventory. I checked eForms and I was like, oh, looks like the Form 3 is approved. I think I'm getting it tomorrow. I think it's going to be shipped to me tomorrow or today, if you consider this is future me. This is future Jay talking to you on the 29th when it's released. So coming to you from the 28th when the podcast is released. So yeah, I'm not going to put, I decided I'm not going to put the PEW Science members Omega 9K in danger anymore with the CAM-LOK. I'm going to take out that piston. Oh, you know what, dude? I bought some more. I forgot before I went on R&R. I had a package that was sitting here in my office that was still closed. I just opened it for the podcast. I bought an extra rugged dead air SilencerCo Griffin CAM-LOK piston. I have it here in my hand. It's like a new one. I bought another one because I was like, okay, well, that piston's actually compatible with some more stuff. Maybe I'll leave that other piston in the Omega 9K just because I might mess with it again, see if I can get it to stay better. So I was thinking maybe just eliminate the piston as a variable because, I know the adapter was fine with the CGS. It's like, well, maybe I can use both these pistons and see which one is better for unscrewing or not unscrewing. So, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So that's just like one of my processes to like just try to figure out what exactly is going on with the system. I hope it works. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use it with the Obsidian 9. I think I'm going to have some shooting time this weekend. I do. Just maybe only on Saturday. I might have some time. I have some hunting season prep to do, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to work in the field. And in the evening, maybe I'll have some time. I'm going to go practice my pistol shooting a little bit, Like I need to get more reps in with the FN. I do. Like that's like I'm being a little selfish here. I do need to shoot because I need to practice with the pistol because I've been carrying it in my backpack. I've been carrying it in my backpack. Like I put it in its case and I put the case in the backpack and just have the gun with me or wherever I'm going and stuff. I don't have a holster yet, but I've been carrying it and I need to get more reps in with the FN. My sweet baby, mein Liebchen. Ja, das ist gut. Ja. Look, it's not German, but I don't know French. So I'm going to make my FN German. Okay. See what you made me do, HK? See what you made me do when you don't give me optics ready P30 series. See what you with silencer height sights. Yeah, I had to buy a threaded barrel for my P30L. I mean, guys, HK, Heckler und Koch, bitte help, please. HK Riley, bro, friend, PEW Science member. Riley, if you're listening, dude, what's going on, man? Get hammer fired HK optics ready make a P30L tactical, dude. Do it, bro. Do it. I'll be your best friend. Yeah, no, I'm just frustrated. I like HK I like the HK hammer fire guns with the LEM trigger. Oh my goodness gracious me. Guys, come on, could you imagine? Could you imagine optics ready? I'm not going to mill my slide. Don't email tech@pewscience.com and you DM me and you're like, why don't you just mill your HK slide? Dude, really? No, I don't want to. I want it to be designed like that. I want HK to do that. I don't. Come on, man. So anyway, enough about my personal pistol problems. Now, regarding the CAM-LOK, let's move on to the meat of the topic here. I've received a lot of anecdotal feedback on the CAM-LOK, and so many people are loving it. And the swing of loving it to having problems with it is serious. The pendulum is swinging, and it's to the point that it's kind of crazy. Like so many people are loving this thing that I see. This is just anecdotal. It's hard for me to gauge because it's, I'm just seeing. Another guy posted on ARFCOM recently that he had an issue though. He destroyed a piston by over tightening it. Remember we talked about the other guy did that? Like the other guy messed up a piston too, doing that. So there was a back and forth discussion in this new thread on ARFCOM that someone did. I guess they didn't see mine. They wanted to make their own, which is the nature of forums. So the designer from Griffin, Austin, he jumped in. He did say he recommends perhaps lubricating the system as well. I was like, what? I was like, maybe he means not the taper, but I guess he means the coarse threads. Maybe so it doesn't hang up. I don't know what. So he recommended lubricating it. I was like, that's interesting. I was like, okay, I can put some grease on there, on the threads there. It shouldn't really affect anything. I mean, the taper is what's locking it up. Okay. I don't know. Right now, honestly, guys, what I'm gathering is that there are some potential issues here. But it sounds like to me, if you pay attention to what you're doing with this thing, and you don't treat it like an ultra-fast, crazy QD system, and you treat it like a normal silencer attachment method, like if you just treat it normal, like you're normally putting on a silencer, you carefully attach it and don't He-Man it on when you tighten it, you just make sure those tapers engage, you're fine. That's what it seems like. But really, like to me, my gut tells me that shows there could be improvement to the system. Think about it, guys. Like the system should be robust for users. Like in other words, like the user should not be able to break this by over tightening by hand. I don't think the user should be able to do that. It shouldn't be a thing. That to me means you could actually just make a tapered barrel adapter and a tapered piston. Like forget the interrupted threads. Forget it. Use the different. If you're worried about point of impact shift, just use the different pistons to index instead. Like, yeah, I mean, the different piston index points. Like, you know how you can pull the silencer, compress the spring and twist the silencer and to lock up in a different position, different axial alignment. Just do that. Screw the interrupted threads. I feel like if you're gonna do interrupted threads, make them strong enough to not fail by over tightening by hand. Like, don't fail. Don't make threads like that then. I mean, you know what I mean? So those are the two options I see that are super easy right now. Non-interrupted thread system with a taper or stronger interrupted threads with a taper. For now, I'm going to shoot it some more. I'll report back, fam. Okay? Sound good? Yeah, I'll let you know. Also, the Obsidian 9 I bought is brown. I'm going to look so pretty shooting it by myself. Like the gun's brown. The RMR is brown. The silencer's brown. We got multiple shades of FDE. It's going to be great. Oh, man, it is coming down. I'm going to go ahead and open up a web browser. Just 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and look at some radar, guys. Weather.gov here. Huh, thunderstorms likely. Well, interesting. Look at a different site really quick. AccuWeather. I knew the guys who invented AccuWeather, who developed the system. A brilliant meteorologist actually, and so some of them are cartographers, map makers. Brilliant people. I met them a long time ago in a former life when I was doing some government work. Wow, yeah, that is a huge storm system. I hope you folks in Texas are doing okay. There's quite a bit of storms. It looks like the north area up by Austin is really getting hammered. Well, all right, man. I hope this background noise isn't distracting you guys. It is coming down. It's coming down. Okay. Well, yeah. So I'll give you guys some more information. I'm actually pretty excited about the Obsidian 9. I did test the rugged Obsidian 9 back a couple years ago in the early stages of PEW Science with a major industry party we tested the Obsidian 9. I have some data in the archives, but it was on a host that I don't really want to use for testing. It was with some other people. I think I've talked about this before, but I couldn't control all the testing variables on the test day properly because everyone was impatient. And a lot of these people, you need to understand, a lot of the people that work in the gun industry don't take the time to test correctly. So they'll just set up microphones and test. Like, they don't really think about what they're doing correctly. And so sometimes you can get data, but if you don't know what you're looking at, you can get data and you'll distribute that data and give it to people, and they're just going to take it like it's real. And then then you've done nothing more than the past 30 years of silencer testing is done. You've just given people garbage that doesn't make any sense. So while the data we gathered in that test day was pretty good, it wasn't up to my standards. So that's why I haven't published Obsidian 9 data. But now I will have, or PEW Science will have its own Obsidian 9. And as long as it works, I'll test it. I'll test it on the P30L for you. You know what I mean? And then I'll test the Omega 9K. I'm gonna test some other stuff, and there's actually some things that we might need to we might need to look at with our previous 9mm test data, and we might need to redo some of it. I'm not sure yet. I need to look back at it. It was early on, and I've learned a lot since starting some of the testing on the semi-auto handguns. So we might need to check that out and see if we need to redo a test. And also, I might need to understand how the last round signature influences some stuff too, like we did on the AR, remember? So that's something we can do. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause this really quick in case there's some really loud rain, and then I'm going to come back to this, okay? And then we're going to pick it back up in topic 3. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I paused it. I think the rain has died down a little bit. I was listening to some of this. It didn't seem to be too bad, so I think that it will be okay. So we're going to move into topic 3 at a time of 52 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay, man, I went outside and looked at my yard. I was like, man, this rain's so great. This is exactly what we needed. All right. So topic 3, listener questions are back. And we're going to dive into Solicitation 3. Boy, howdy. I'm so excited to answer your queries. You guys came through. You did. The other week, you know what I did? The other week, I did another question solicitation on Instagram, and we're good to go. So many questions. We're going to dive in today. We're going to go into our spreadsheet here that has been growing, and we're going to see how far we get. It's my favorite time. Okay. I'm going to open. All right. I think we started these questions in episode 54. On episode, what did I say this was? 81. What's PEW Science? PEWScience.com podcast. Yeah. One we're recording right now is 81. That's crazy, dude. Freaking crazy. Okay. So now we're in Solicitation 3. Let's get started. Question, and for those of you not familiar with this, I'm going to read the global question number and then the local question number for solicitation. So this is question number 129, local question 1. Is that right? Hold on. Let me go back. That doesn't sound right. Is it really? Yeah, dude. Question 129, sub-question 1. And the question is, if you were to build or buy a premium AR, what level of MOA would be acceptable to you? Oh, that's a really interesting question, sir, ma'am. Really good question. I think it would really help to first define minute of angle. I think it would, or minute of arc minute. You guys know what an arc minute is, yeah? So for everyone, I want everyone to be on the same page here and understand what this means. So there are, you can take an angle. Okay, a degree. Let's say you guys know what what an angle. I'm not going to go into super basics what an angle is, but you know what a degree is, right? There's 360 degrees, in one rotation of a circle, right? 360 degrees. And like, so when you know what 1 degree is, right? Well, what if you divided that degree up into 60 parts? You could say there's 60 minutes in the angle. It was like the ancient Babylonians, 60 minutes in a degree. So, one arc minute. 1 arc minute is the distance subtended by 1/60th of a degree. Yeah? If you drew a triangle with it was an acute triangle, and that little angle was a degree. And then opposite to that degree, that other side of the triangle, that the length of that side, that would be the distance subtended by that 1 degree. Now, if you split that distance in that angle into 60 parts, really small, and you went back to the other side of the triangle, and it would be smaller, right? That's the distance subtended by 1/60th of the degree. That's 1 minute of angle. 1 minute of a degree. So how big would that be at 100 yards if your other edge of the triangle was 100 yards long? So the bottom, you draw a right triangle. Okay, draw a right triangle on a piece of paper. Okay. The bottom edge of the triangle is 100 yards long. Or you know what? In fact, do it easier. Put your pen down on the table. Your pen's 100 yards long, yeah? Then raise up one end of the pen until it's up by 1 degree. What would be the distance between the tip of that pen and the table if the pen was 100 yards long? If the pen was your hypotenuse, the long side of the triangle, how high up would it be? Well, if it was 100, if the original distance was 100 yards, yeah, I guess this isn't right because your pen can't grow. Okay, that's a bad example. I'm trying to do this on a podcast like orally instead of visually, so it's hard. Okay, look. Draw a right triangle. The small angle is 1/60th of a degree. The bottom side's 100 yards long. What's the height of the side that's opposite to the 1/60th of the degree? Well, it's 1.047 inches, turns out, at 100 yards. That's 1 minute of angle. 1 minute of angle at 100 yards is 1.047 inches. Okay, that's the distance subtended by 1/60th of a degree. That's what a minute of angle is. Okay, 100 yards away, 1/60th of 1 degree subtends 1.047 inches. You know what subtending means? I'm using that word like, I hope you guys understand. I don't know how long it's been since you took geometry. This is like middle school stuff, dude. This isn't even high school. And like if you're outside of the United States, this is elementary school because they go faster. The U.S. is soft in lower education. The U.S. is very good in higher education. The U.S. is very poor in lower education. So if you're in the United States and you never went to college, dude, you need to go to college because the U.S. educational system before college is terrible. So yeah. Anyway, 1.047 inches is 1 minute angle. You know what's really cool about that? What's really cool about a minute of angle? The subtension is linear. It's just geometry. So 200 yards will be twice 1.047 inches, which works out to be 2.094 inches, right? So 500 yards would be 5.235 inches. You just multiply by the 100 yards, right? So yeah, so pretty easy, right? So at 500 yards, 1 minute of angle would be 5.25 inches, right? It's pretty easy to figure out. You can talk about milliradians too. If you're mils, if you're really in, which actually do make more sense than a minute of angle. But right now, I just want to make sure you understand what an arc minute is. I'm looking at this guy's question. I'm like, I just want you to know what an arc minute is, or minute of arc, a minute of angle. It's all the same thing. Those are all the same words, really. It's all the same words. Just want to make sure you understand that. So to your question, sir, man, what level of MOA, minute of angle, would be acceptable to me? You're asking me that. Well, man, the rain's coming down again. What MOA would be acceptable to me? It really depends on what I'm doing, doesn't it? A lot of shooting I do is within 100 to 200 yards. So if my rifle can reasonably group at about an inch at 100 yards, if the ammo is good and my shooting is good, and then that would be very good to me personally. That basically means that if I shot a bunch of groups, most of the groups would be about an inch or less in overall size at 100 yards. That's pretty good. It's pretty good for what I do. Most of the groups, not all of them. Not all of them would be that small, but most of them would be. That's the definition of that. I mean, statistically, that would mean that the rifle shoots one MOA. It's possible that I would be okay with more than one MOA, like maybe two MOA. I don't know. I guess, and maybe that would happen if I changed ammo, or maybe the rifle wasn't that good to begin with, or maybe I can't shoot that well. How well can you shoot? Either way, you have to decide what you're going to be doing with your rifle. If you're shooting a lot at like 500 yards, and you're not okay with most of your groups being like 5 1/4 inches in size at that distance, if you shoot perfectly, then maybe you need a rifle that's half MOA. Chances are you're probably not going to be able to utilize that, honestly. But maybe you're an awesome shot and it matters to you, dude. Like maybe you're awesome. Not everyone is, But then add a silencer. Is the silencer going to help you or hurt you? Is it going to decrease the group size or increase it? Or will it stay the same? I don't know. It's a really good question. It is, and I think any of those three answers are actually possible depending on the gun and the silencer combination, really. It could make it worse, make it better, or stay the same. And that's crazy when you think about that. So that's a good question. I don't know if I answered it for you. I mean, you asked me like if I were to build or buy a premium AR, what level of MOA would I be acceptable? It's like, I don't know. I guess I don't know the answer, but I'd like it to be one or two, I guess. It's all the shooting I do with it. You know what I mean? You might have a different requirement, and you might have a different definition of a premium AR, my friend. Okay, that's a good question. That's a great. Actually, we don't talk about that a lot. I don't think I've ever talked about that specifically in the podcast. So that was a good question, sir or ma'am. All right. Question 130, sub-question 2. What variables are you excited to try next on 5.56? I think I'm really excited. First of all, that's a really good question, and I read it. And I'm already gonna start answering it. I'm really excited about determining the limits of signature at the ear on the AR platform. That's what I'm interested in. That variable. I don't know if that's your question. I think this is Marshall that asked this. So shout out Mr. Recky there on the old Instagram. If I remember correctly, he was the one who asked this. I think I'm really excited about determining the limits of signature at the ear. I really want to see how far we can get. Just how quiet can we get the signature at the shooter's ear? Can we reduce it to levels at or near the action noise limitations? Neglecting bone conduction. Okay, is that possible? It will be interesting to see how different variables alter that signature and what has the biggest influence and which silencers can take advantage of them. You know what I mean? I'm all about reducing hearing damage risk. I'm not really talking about making a weapon hearing safe. That's a misnomer. What I'm talking about is reducing risk. Okay? Risk takes into account the frequency of an action, the probability of the bad thing happening during the action, the consequences of it happening when and if it does happen when you perform the action. So there are a lot of knobs for you to turn when you want to start messing with controlling your hearing damage risk with suppressed small arms. You understand? Like I just said a lot of stuff. Like, for example, what is the frequency? How often do you shoot? And how much do you shoot when you go shooting? And then what's the probability of the bad thing happening? What's the probability of a hearing protection malfunction? Or a shot being louder than normal, or something like that? Then what's the consequence? How loud will the signature be if it actually impacts your ears? Or how quiet will it be? You see the issue here Do you see it? Like you're not only wanting a quiet system, really. You're wanting it quiet to the extent it needs to be quiet enough to meet your risk criteria or your risk criterion. Okay, so what is your criterion? What does hearing safe mean to you? I mean, it's a continuum, really. It's dose dependent. We know that, and it's risk dependent. So yeah, that's one variable. The one variable is ejection port signature. Super interested in playing with that. Stick around though. We just started with the Mark 18. So what will we see as we go forward? We're gonna find out. I'm excited about it. That's actually what I'm excited about. And that is your question. Your question, sir, was what variables are you excited to try next? That's my variables ejection port signature. That's what I'm excited to try next. Makes me excited. Okay. Question 131, sub-question 3. When are we getting a taste of 338 Lapua Magnum data and then 5.56 barrel lengths compared? God. You'll probably get a taste when I test some more silencers with it so I can explore some things for 338 Lapua Mag, and also when I play around a bit with some apparatus stuff. Okay, I want to do some things to enhance that data. Some stuff I'm not really going to discuss that on the podcast. It's trade secret stuff with PEW Science, so that might be a bit. I'm not really interested in showcasing the 338 at this time. I have some contractual stuff privately I'm doing with it too, which you're not going to see that. And so I think we have our hands full with some other public ARCs right now with higher interest at the moment, higher interest than that, and including the Mark 18, frankly, and 300 Blackout Subsonic, and we still have some 308 bolt gun stuff to do, so don't hold your breath for it right now. Now, with regard to 5.56 barrel lengths, we have a lot more than barrel lengths to compare with an AR, dude. So be thinking about that question and how you would control variables. Like, are you saying, like, okay, because you're asking, when are we going to get 5.56 barrel lengths compared? Well, I mean, I don't know. Are you saying to use the exact same gas port size and location of the Mark 18 with a longer barrel? You're probably not saying that. But what are you really asking if you're asking about other barrel length data? Like, I mean, you just started getting 5.56 data, and I actually know who you are who asked this. you always ask these questions, like, dude, like, I don't know if you're joking, but I'm not sure if you're joking or not, sir. But if you are, I guess I'm gonna laugh. And if you're not, well, I hope that helps you understand. Like, I can't tell you that. I mean, you're asking to compare 5.56 barrel lengths. Like, how would you propose we do that? I mean, if you have a proposed test matrix, I'm all ears. tech@pewscience.com. Yeah. Okay, next question. Question 132, sub-question 4. Should consumers be concerned with longevity of silencer companies? That's a good question. Absolutely they should. Not only like long, yeah. And, sometimes people say, oh, well, they've been around a long time, so that's good. And I think it's more like, how long have they been doing silencers? Because it's not only, I not only want them to be around for a long time, but I want to see, like, do they know the industry, and do they know the history of the technologies? Because there's some stuff going on right now that I'm like, guys, if you had known that had been done and didn't work for XYZ, you would have never tried it again. Like, so that's kind of some stuff that gives me pause, especially today. What's today? The 28th of September. I saw some stuff. I saw a silencer get released today that is interesting to me. Yeah. So back to your question, should consumers be concerned with the longevity of silencer companies? Absolutely, dude. Like, I actually think that consumers should be concerned with the longevity of all companies. All companies to whom they give their hard-earned money for firearm products. Like, forget silencer companies, all firearm companies. Support is important. That's a big one. I think if something goes wrong, which it certainly can, for an item like a silencer that involves an incredible opportunity cost, like a long wait, like, a consumer needs to be comfortable with the likelihood of service and product performance and product, like, just support in general, not only if it breaks, but like just in general, you need to be able to talk to the company and get an honest conversation, an honest answer. I think that's important too. I think having someone in your corner is important. Just because it's such a it's an intimate purchase. Dude, you're asking. You're gonna wait a year. You're gonna wait a year for that. And I feel like you're actually like you're a partner with that company. I mean, you're investing a lot in them, so I think they should invest a lot in you, and they should actually care about what you want from them. They should care about like the performance of their product and what it really means. They should be willing to like understand that. So I mean, I think the integrity of the company goes along with some of this too. So it's not only the longevity of the company, but I think you should be concerned with the integrity of silencer companies, because it's such a serious purchase, and you need to know if you can trust these people. Now, here's an example of support. Advanced Armament Corporation. That company got sold and then it died. And I hear good things. I hear it's hopefully going to be resurrected by new ownership. That's really cool. But you know what? For a very long time, tons of folks with those products were dead in the water, and a lot of them still are. They're dead in the water for a long time. If anything goes wrong, if they blow up their baffles, I'm one of those customers. I have some AC silencers now that if I blew them up, I'd be dead in the water. And that's super crazy when you think about it. There are some other companies that are smaller and lasted less time, and some that are larger and they lasted longer. And it's really something you don't have control over or foresight about. You don't have control over that as a consumer. There are some incredibly large silencer companies that may stay afloat for a while, but if AAC can go down, anyone can, dude. Like I think all in all, the very small companies might stay around or they might not. I don't know. I think if you give them a couple years and they're around, the probability of them sticking around for a while increases a lot. You can probably do a case study on that. Like it's probably like, if a business survives its first year, it's more likely to yada yada. It's probably something specific for the silencer industry too. I know there's other factors. I'm not trying to like boil it down to something too simple, but you get my point. So yeah. Okay, how are we doing on time? That's a good question. Hour and 12 minutes in. Okay. Well, I'm gonna answer a couple more. We'll do a couple more. Tell you what, we'll do a couple more. We're gonna give it a little college try here. So thank you for that question, sir or ma'am. I think that was a really good question about silencer company longevity, and should you be concerned? And yeah, you kind of should. Not only of the silencer company longevity, but like the knowledge base of the folks making the silencers and their integrity. I think integrity is important. If you ever have any question about that, you shoot me a DM or email me. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. Okay. Question 133, sub-question 5. From an engineering standpoint, what are the biggest features or designs that are holding back or limiting suppressor design innovation? That's an excellent question. Well, man, that's a really good question. I think we've touched on this in the past, but this is more. You actually asked a more specific question than some other folks have in the past. I think you actually. It's funny. I think you actually answered the question in your question. From an engineering standpoint, what are the biggest features or designs that are holding things back? Well, it's engineering. It's knowing what your system is doing and how to make it do what you want it to do. And if you don't know what your system is doing, how can you understand the system and how to make it better? Right? Yeah. So you can't really hope to improve something if you can't characterize it. I think if folks could start to do that better, they could really zone in on targeted performance improvements. If they knew exactly what in their silencer was doing what, then maybe they could do better. I think quantifying actual signature characteristics and flow rate for silencer designs would help folks zone in on what matters and what doesn't for certain designs. PEW Science clients are doing it right now. So the answer to your question is the biggest limitation is folks not properly testing and analyzing their product performance. I think that's generally agreed upon by everyone who knows how silencers work. I think the biggest mistake folks make is they just do something because they think They do something that they don't know what the knobs they're turning are doing. I think with good data analysis, I think folks can excel. I do. I hope that helped. That's a good question. I hope I answered that properly. I don't want to be too long-winded with that one. We can go into super details, but I don't think that's appropriate. Okay. Question 134, sub-question 6. Are there any AR308 platform bolt carrier groups that have a long cam path like the LMT or Surefire OBC for the AR15? Dude, that's a great question. It's actually an easy answer. Yes. There's an LMT enhanced for the 308, dude. Like, that exists. Like, that's a thing. So, and you know what? Actually, anecdotal reports I've been given indicate that it does help. Now, the 308 cartridge is interesting in that there's a lot of gas coming down that gas tube. So you have a lot of unlocking impulse through that gas tube too. That impulse can really unlock your system too early, pretty easily, man. Like 308 ARs can be kind of crazy. I do recommend being careful when you tune a 308 AR. So the LMTE, the LMT enhanced, that's one. Now, I haven't researched a lot of other ones in 308. Thanks for that question. That's a good question. I hope that helps you. I don't know how available it is, but I know it exists. And I know for a fact, like some dude was talking about it, like I think it was on Reddit last year. He was like, dude, I used it. It was awesome. I was like, really? So that's cool. Maybe I'll try it in mine. I should try to get one of those. I know LMT's been having some problems with like production, so it'd be cool. Thank you for the question, sir or ma'am. I hope that helps. I hope that helps you and others. Yeah, check that out, the LMT Enhanced. And for those of you who don't know what he's talking about a longer cam path. What he's talking about is that the bolt carrier group can move further rearward without the bolt unlocking. So it gives you that little bit of extra time to drop that pressure. A little bit extra time. But that LMT, or chick, lady, you're probably a dude. That LMT will vent gas out of the little holes too, a little bit more too. So for 308, it might be worth it. With that delayed unlock. I don't know. I have to test it. It's gonna be crazy when I test 308 gas gun. It's gonna be wild. I don't even know if we want to do that. No, we do. Okay, next question. I think. Well, do we have time for one more? Okay, we'll do one more. Question 135, sub-question 7. Now that we're finally getting 5.56 data, when can we expect 8.6 data? I'm going to take a drink of water. 8.6 data, dude? Really? Man, I'm not even sure that matters right now at all. I'm being real with you. Like, considering the cartridge isn't available, nobody has the weapons. The only silencers that you can use are 338 silencers. Dude, I have a CGS Hecate, and I have a Thunder Beast 338 Ultra SR. I can test those two on it. Then I need a test host for it, so that would mean I need a gun from Q. There aren't any in the wild, and I mean Q gave guns to people. They want to have guns. They didn't give one to PEW Science to test, so. You're gonna have to ask Q. You're gonna have to contact Q. I don't know. They're literally in the driver's seat for that. Like I know they're testing 8.6 with all these people. So if they wanted PEW Science to give you data, they would have already made that happen. Okay? I tell you what. I would ask Adam. He's the CEO of Q. Ask him. He's a nice guy. Ask him. That's all. I don't even know. I don't know if your question's a joke or not. 8.6 data? Like, I don't even know if you want that right now. Like, there's no guns. You can't buy a gun with it. I guess you're asking, like, maybe on a bolt gun, how's it going to compare to, like, 308 or something like that? That's probably a good question. Because in subsonic, it's probably going to be pretty good. But supersonic, you probably want to know how loud it is. That makes sense. I understand that. I'm sure, when Q releases their 8.6 silencers, I'll test those. So maybe we'll have an 8.6 host to use. I mean, and I'm sure I'll get the the subsonic ammo from Discreet Ballistics. I just talked to David the other day. I got some more of his 300 blackout ammo. Shout out to David Stark at Discreet Ballistics. He's a nice guy. I know he's doing some research with Q for, they got to figure out how to make that stuff expand and actually work. So he's working on that. So yeah, maybe we'll do that. But ask Adam. Go ask Adam at Q, and Adam and I talk a lot. He's a good guy. So if there's anyone who can make that happen, it's him. Okay. I think that's a pretty good start for our spreadsheet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. And thank you, sir, for asking that question. I'm going to highlight this in yellow. Okay. So that is, we're going to leave off on question 135. I can't believe so we had 7 questions for our first shot there. That's pretty good, dude. I'm going to close that. I'm going to save the spreadsheet. I'm going to close it. Boom. All right. It's getting late. I'm going to move into topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 17 seconds. Okay. Great show of support recently, guys. Topic 4. Great show of support. And this is awesome. It's actually making PEW Science better. Several of you guys joined. Some of you I actually interact with a lot on social media, and I saw that you joined. I was like, hey, what's up? That's awesome. If I actually didn't recognize your name and sent you a welcome email, like as if like I didn't know who you were, like feel free to like email me back and be like, dude, you know who I am. I'm like, oh crap, I didn't really recognize your name. Because sometimes your screen names on your Instagram are like way different than your real name, which is like all the time. And sometimes I forget like who's who. And I you know what I mean? So I'm sorry. Go easy on me. But also, a big welcome to Abel Suppressor Company. They're actually a PEW Science client. We've done testing together, and now they're a public member. So that's crazy. So if you've joined PEW Science within the past few days, the past week, I think I've emailed all of you. So if not, email me and ask me what the heck's going on. Abel included. I know I've talked to them. Abel Suppressor Company, guys, this is pretty cool. They're a pretty new silencer company, and they're an R&D client. They are, and I don't speak about R&D clients at all. I don't bring that to anyone's attention unless the R&D client wants to release data publicly, or the R&D client joins PEW Science. And it just so happens that Abel Suppressor Company is an R&D client that joined PEW Science publicly. And so they are out of California. They are behind enemy lines. They do stuff for like SWAT teams and stuff. Like they're doing stuff for law enforcement there. And so big shout out to Abel Suppressor Company. It's cool when existing R&D and testing clients at PEW Science also support publicly. That's really cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, like not only are you using the engineering services and the evaluation services, you also want to help the effort keep going. And I think that speaks volumes. And this is not an endorsement of their products. This is just me saying thank you to them. That's awesome. I shout out, like, if you see them around, tell them what's up. Tell them I said what's up. I asked them if I could put their logo on the website. They said yes. So that's obviously very cool. I'm honored they would allow that. That they are proud to support PEW Science. I think that's really nice. And so yeah, so you can see Abel if you go to the request for quote page on pewscience.com. You can click there and you see Abel's logo down there. You can click that and go to their website. Neat, right? Yeah, so look at all the awesome companies who are supporting PEW Science. That's really neat, right? I think that's really nice. So with that, I hope this episode was informative to you. We hit a lot of different topics. We talked about the Saker. We answered some listener questions. I gave you some CAM-LOK updates. I talked to you about the Obsidian 9 I might shoot soon. It's always exciting when you get a new silencer. It's great. And so yeah, I think that was a really nice episode. I think we hit a lot of stuff. So with that, stay safe, friends. I'm going to go shoot more so I can not suck as much and be awesome with the gun that I'm going to carry so I can be confident. I'm excited about that. It's always a good idea. So I will talk to you folks again soon, and I will give you an update later. All right, bye.